Round weaving on a cardboard loom. This is part 2. See part 1 for more detail on basic weaving. Hi, my name is Susanna. I work for the Crawfordsville District Public Library. How to make a cardboard loom. Cut out a flat square of cardboard roughly the same size you intend your finished textile to be. You can make a piece smaller than the loom, but not bigger. Use a ruler to mark every ½ inch along all 4 edges of your cardboard. Use scissors or an X-Acto knife to cut about 1/4 inch into the cardboard at each mark. Stringing the warp. Hook your cotton string through the first notch from the top left corner, leaving a short tail in the back and the long bundle you're currently working with in the front. Bring the string across the front of the loom and hook it through the first notch from the bottom right corner, ending with the bundle in the back. On the back of the loom, pass the string through the next notch from the bottom right corner, bringing it back to the front. Bring the string across the front of the loom again, over your previous work, to the opposite notch. Continue this pattern, stringing the opposite notch across the front and the adjacent notches on the back, until every notch has been used. Adjust your work so that the intersection of the strings is in the center of the loom. Check the tension often by strumming the warp like a guitar. Cut off the excess, leaving another short tail in the back. Count the number of warps, meaning the number of strings that reach from the notches to the center of the loom. If you have an even number of warps, tie 2 adjacent warps together with a short, colorful string. Basic tabby weaving. Cut a length of yarn and, if desired, thread it on a large blunt needle. Pass the yarn under the first warp, pulling the length almost all the way through, leaving just a short tail. Pass the yarn over the second warp, then under the third, over the fourth, under, over, etc., working around in a circle. Pull the yarn through as you work, being careful not to pull it all the way through and undo it. Feel free to work in the looser outer area of the loom. As you pull the yarn tight, it will snug up in the center of the loom. When you have completed one full circle around the loom, the pattern should line up so that you go over that first warp. If the pattern has you going under, you have skipped a warp somewhere. Be careful not to weave between the tied warps, or get tangled in the loose ends. You are spiraling outwards. Each new circle around the loom should be on the outside of your previous work. Weave around and around until you reach your desired size of textile, or run out of yarn. Add more yarn by tying the new yarn to the old, overlapping the new with the old, or leaving the loose ends sticking out to weave in later. If you are making a coaster or hot pad, tabby weave the center for a flat surface, and only use the decorative techniques for the outer edge. Sumac. Loop a length of yarn around your first warp so that you have 2 long tails to work with. Pass the 2 tails over the second warp, then turn and bring them under the second warp, bringing the tails out between the loops this creates and the previous layers of weaving. Pull tight and scoot towards the center of your weaving. Pass the tails over the third warp, continuing the pattern. Continuous Rhea. Weave a full circle of tabby first, ending by going under a warp. On top of the next 2 warps, make a loop of weft. Bring the edges of the loop around the outer sides of the 2 warps, then under and up through the middle. Pull the new loops of weft toward the center of your weaving to tighten. Make a loop of weft over the next 2 warps and continue in this pattern. Dovetail. Pick a warp to be the edge of your first block of color. Integrate your new yarn into the piece in one of the 3 ways mentioned previously, and weave the stitch of your choice until you reach this edge. Turn and weave back the opposite way until you reach your starting warp. If you went over your edge warp, go back under, or vice versa, wrapping the weft around the edge warp. Each new layer of weft must alternate in pattern with the layer beneath it, like usual. Continue weaving back and forth between these 2 warps until you have built up a sufficient block of color. Using a new color, start at the edge warp of the previous block and pick another warp to be the edge of this block. If you are only using 2 blocks, this edge will be the same warp you started with. You cannot integrate this new color using a knot, as there is no loose end to tie it to, so use one of the other techniques. Weave back and forth between the edge warps. When turning around the shared edge warp, weave between your previous block, so the rows on the warp alternate colors. taking it off the loom. Cut through the short lengths of warp on the back of your loom. Tie the strings together in groups of 2 flush against your weaving. Adult take-and-make kits are available at the second floor reference desk. Find more resources at www.cdpl.lib.in.us and www.creativebug.com.